think we're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Luxury Live Show. I've got our beautiful Amy here today. Hi, everybody. Thank you for waiting for us. We got a little bit of a rough start. But yes, thank you. So if you saw the thumbnail today, we are going to have an interesting topic because I guess being on this live show for a while, a lot of us have been asking questions about authentication, buying from different places. So I thought we'd do we were thinking about it. We'd do a video, like a two-part, not video, live stream for this topic. And today we're going to talk about the layers of luxury shopping. So yeah, if you have any questions, we will answer that later. But yeah, let's just it's a pretty deep topic. I think we got quite a lot of slides today.
Yeah, we got slides for you guys. Today's slides are pretty, I think they're probably one of our best slides, huh? Lots of information, basically.
Yeah. So just give me a second. Let me share them
today. All the different ways of luxury shopping that's available right now. And yeah, it was definitely inspired by a lot of your questions.
Okay, let me just make this to be a full view. Oh, how do I do this? Zoom.
Is there a
full screen? Here we go.
Full screen, yeah. There we go.
Does it look good? It looks good?
It looks great.
All right. So, okay, let's start. It's a pretty heavy topic, so just me and Amy will bring you through them. Let's go why we are talking about this topic. So we've been doing this live stream for
2 months almost.
2 months. Yeah, 2 months. So it's really good to see so many people just, ask us questions. But a common, a question that keeps coming up is, why do we buy retail? And I feel like a lot of you have already noticed that Amy and I, we are saying, we prefer to buy from store. So we'll just share with you why with some pros and cons. Then we also have questions about how to authenticate, especially if you're buying from, not the retail store. So the question is like, how do you know it's real? And then there are some questions about recommendations or resellers, personal shoppers and your online retailers. And then, of course, we'll finally finish off with something a little bit maybe interesting because we could cut eye candy for you. Is buying from secondhand and our opinions on it because we've got some pictures. Okay, so let me start. So the layers of shopping. I think we see luxury shopping in various categories. So the first layer, the top of the mountain, is the actual buying from retail, the full luxury experience. When you buy direct from the store, whether it's Chanel, LV, Hermes, you get the whole deal, right? The full package. So, when you buy from retail and you buy from the actual luxury shop, you will get obviously the original proof of purchases. You get the client advisors who are trained and they're really dedicated in maintaining that customer relationship. And at retail, obviously it's retail pricing. You buy whatever you pay is the price that they are selling it for. And it's, it doesn't change unless obviously they have price increases, then, it changes. But otherwise it's retail pricing. And with most of these luxury retailers, they have very, very clear return and exchange policies and they have product warranties. So LV, for example, they do warranty their products for up to a year, especially if it's new. And I do know in some countries, they might even take back items that are, maybe defective years later. And that's the kind of warranty that you will expect from a luxury retail store. And nowadays with the whole situation, and I think some of the retailers are picking it up, they have concierge delivery, and also with the digitalization, they also do a lot of customer records. So you could be, buying in Hong Kong or buying in Australia. They might even have your records here in Singapore or maybe overseas. So that is like the whole package, right? So here's the pros and cons. Obviously, authenticity, right? The pro. You are buying from the store. It has to be real. The whole in-store experience, there's no markups. Then you get those knowledgeable client advisors. And it's a one-to-one experience because they want to maintain that relationship with you. And then definitely, like I said earlier, a clear return, a clear exchange policy. It's all written in their website. It's all, there's nothing to be, there's not, there's nothing about iffy about it. It's right there for you to see. One interesting thing is obviously if you buy a lot and you have a really good relationship with your client advisor, they invite you to pre-launches, sometimes fashion shows if you're really lucky. And most times they do give you a bit of samples. Once in a while, I get some perfume samples. I have received from Chanel some invitation for beauty services. So that's pretty amazing as well. And for luxury brands, the one that I'm speaking of here is LV. You get concierge shipping where they actually deliver the item directly to your house in a guy that's in an LV suit. Like he is in his black suit and everything. So it's like the whole experience, but at home. Now, what's bad about buying from retail, obviously, is the retail price, right? The good and bad, right? There's no discounts. You don't get any vouchers. There's no promotion, nothing. You pay what you see. And even though there are some places with concierge, luxury brands tend to want you to go to the store. So not every place has a digital experience yet, which I feel like might change in the future. Then, because you got to go in the store, sometimes you might not get a great client advisor, that might be unlucky. So there might be some favoritism as well. And I've heard that there are inconsistent retail experiences. Some places you get really amazing experience, the whole relationship, you just buy one small thing, but sometimes you just get nothing, even you've bought a lot of stuff, right? The last point is about returns. Yeah, because some of the policies are so great about exchanges and returns, the luxury houses may actually resell them. I feel like this is a case-by-case basis. And yeah, maybe worst case scenario is fakes. All right, Amy.
Yes. So Kat presented to you the retail, the most obvious way of shopping. Now let's go one layer down, and those are all the online luxury sites. And I'm talking about the most established ones. So here on the screen, I shared 6 that I personally fully trust. I did a lot of research on these companies, and I've also shopped at 1, 2, 3, 4 of these myself. There's only 2 that I didn't. Actually, no. I tried 5 of these. Only Net-a-Porter I did not try because of the. Anyway, I'll get into it. But this next layer also includes the major department stores that we all know and trust as well, such as Selfridges, Harrods, Saks. In Canada, there's Holt Renfrew. Okay, so the second layer of shopping luxury is these kind of sites, online shopping sites that are pretty much just as good as the retail store themselves. Why? Because these stores are usually authorized, if not usually, actually, they are authorized resellers of the actual brands themselves. They also are up to a level where it's so close to almost shopping at the actual retail store. Like they've tailored their services and their model of marketing and model of customer service to the point where it's almost like shopping retail. But there's of course a difference because it's usually online. So let's show you what I mean by the good and the bad of going through sites like these. So one major pro of shopping at these stores, which is why I say it's almost as good as shopping retail, is because of guaranteed authenticity. These stores are authorized resellers of the brands themselves. And why I know this, because I actually, when I said I did research because I reached out to each of those 6 that I showed you in the earlier slides. And I asked them, are you guys authorized resellers of, say, Fendi or Gucci or Bottega? And they all replied to me and they all said yes, and also I reached out to a couple of brands myself and I asked them, are these stores authorized resellers? And they also confirmed to me. So I know for a fact that these sites that I've been shopping at quite often are trustworthy. I also love shopping at these sites because they sometimes have better pricing. I think because of the fact that they are online, they don't have the cost of, electricity, having to have a brick and mortar shop for you to go in. They can offer you the savings. Of course, some of these also have a brick and mortar shop where you can go in and do some personal shopping. But in general, I mean, for the majority of people that don't live locally where those shops are at. So, for example, Mattress Fashion is UK based, Net-a-Porter is UK based, Luisa Via Roma and My Teresa. Luisa Via Roma is Italian based. My Teresa is Germany based. So unless you live there, you can't really go there. Another really great advantage of these places and why I love shopping there is because they ship so fast. I mean, I buy things from within Canada, from boutiques within Canada, and we are known for the worst and slowest shipping of maybe the entire world. Like literally, I buy something from within my own country and I receive it the next week or maybe 10 days later. With these companies, they usually go with DHL or UPS and it arrives within 2 or 3 business days. It's extremely fast and it's extremely easy to return. They usually include the label for you to return. Another advantage is not applicable to all countries or all places, but so you have to do your research and you have to read the terms and conditions, is that some of them also include the taxes and duties when you shop with them. So that makes it easier to return, because if you ever don't want to keep something, then the duties and the taxes will also be refunded to you. A lot of these companies also have reward programs. So if you shop there often, then you sometimes get birthday gifts, you accumulate points for, for whatever rewards programs they have. Sometimes you can exchange those points into money for future purchases, etc. And of course, you shop from the comfort of your own home. Now, what's not so good about these online luxury sites is that you can't really see or touch the item until you actually get it. So for a lot of newer brands that you're not really familiar with, or if you're just new to luxury shopping, you just can't know for sure if you like the item until you get it, basically, which is a con, because when you shop retail, you're there in person, you can touch it, you can try it on. You can still do that with these sites, but it's just different. You have to pay for it, buy it, receive it. If you don't like it, you have the hassle of returning it. It's easy to return, but it's still a hassle, if you know what I mean. The next major con is currency conversion. So these sites are all over the world, and depending on where it is, depending on where you live, there is usually a currency conversion fee on your Visa or on PayPal. Tax and duties are not always refunded because, like I said, you have to definitely check out for your own country the terms and conditions with that company, whether the tax and duties are included. So for example, I'm Canadian. When I shop at My Teresa, taxes and duties are not included. So I'll get the extra bill later when I receive the item. And if I have to refund something, they may not refund the tax and duties to me because I'll probably have to apply it with DHL, and then it's a long process. So that's a sticky situation. So depending on which company you shop with, and depending on whether that company has a sort of agreement with your country, then that part may not be as advantageous for you. Local delivery couriers. I don't know. I'm pretty sure all of you have experienced at one point or another where the DHL guy didn't even bother to ring up your door, or the UPS guy just said that they tried to attempt delivery, but they did not actually even, they did not, like they were just lazy or whatever. So that's another layer of con that sometimes can happen. Not really related to the retailer per se. And then the other thing that's maybe not as convenient is that these sites, they're all based in different areas. They have good pricing usually, but you still have to shop around. You have to do your own research to make sure that you're getting the best deal, or that you're not really, I guess, compared to your local store, maybe if it's really that much cheaper, if it's worth it to go through the hassle of shopping at these luxury sites and whatnot. So in essence, for me, I love shopping retail, but I also love shopping at these major online luxury sites because of mostly the guarantee authenticity. And aside from LV and from Chanel, every other brand I'm able to grab from these sites. And usually I can save a little bit of money. And I don't mind the shipping and the return process, especially with the ones that I shop at frequently. Usually the DHL guy already knows my they already know my door code and all that. So once you get used to it, it's actually pretty cool and it's pretty fun to shop at these places. And especially if you're a loyal client, then you get rewards too.
I should try. I should try and shop at one of these one day.
Yeah, depending on what you buy, right? It's not, like I said, not LV, not Chanel, not Hermes, but if you buy ready to wear from Balmain or from self portrait, or if you just like your Valentino bag here, Saint Laurent bag there, like little things here and there, it's actually worth looking into these sites.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Amy. So we have just covered 2 layers of shopping for luxury brands, which is obviously the retail and then these online stores. So now we're gonna go into the 3rd layer, and
That's right.
yeah, this is gonna be where it gets a bit more. I don't know, maybe a little bit more challenging. Yeah, a bit more challenging if you're not a very, you're not used to shopping on these other sites. So yeah, let keep going, Amy. So this part.
All right. So another place where you can find luxury goods, and it's a good place to find luxury goods, especially for the vintage items or for items that are no longer available, discontinued, or if it's just sold out and you just can't find it anywhere else. Well, eBay is another place. Of course, everyone knows eBay. With eBay, one of the biggest challenges, you have to know what you're doing, because unless you know that the item you're looking at is authentic, unless you know that the seller is not a scam, and unless you know that that seller has usually pretty good customer service, all these are unknown. So you have a lot of research to do. Of course, you have to read their feedback section. There's also there's authenticity verified section within eBay that started, I think it started in October 2017, where they actually, whoever lists luxury items that wants to be also another level, like want to be authenticity verified, then they can submit that. And then basically the item will be sent to their head office in California, I believe. And then experts, actually, that's it's not, the expert will actually look at it too, but the first layer of how they go through the authentication is they actually put it through their AI entropy system. And if it comes back real from entropy, then the last layer is there's an actual person who actually looks at the item to put the final stamp. Then they will say that this item is authenticity verified. So there's also that on eBay that you can shop, but not everybody will go through the trouble of doing that. Okay, so what are the pros and the cons that you should know about shopping luxury on eBay? Like I said, pros is you can find vintage items, things that are discontinued, especially Japanese consignments. They're known to be very reliable, and they have very stringent rules on counterfeit. So usually Japanese consignment sellers, a lot of them are already trusted, verified sellers on eBay. Potentially you can save some money, because if you're good at researching, if you're good at bidding, auctioning, or if you just find something at the right time and at the great price, then you might end up saving some money. Of course, you can shop the authenticity verified section, but not everything is there, because not everybody will want to go through that extra layer of, I'm guessing there's a fee involved as well. Not everybody will want to go through that trouble of getting it verified, right? But most of the Japanese consignments are part of that. If you look at the slide before, just check off on the column on the filters to make sure that you are shopping authenticity verified, or usually on the listing, it will have it on red fonts. It will tell you that it's verified. And then obviously you also have PayPal protection to a certain degree. What's not so good about shopping on eBay is that Well, you have to do a lot of homework because unless you know what you're doing, I really discourage you from shopping on eBay. It doesn't matter if you save a little bit of money here and there. I mean, don't even shop vintage if you want a vintage item but you don't know what you're doing. Don't trust it. You have to do a lot of homework, and I cannot stress that enough. Sometimes photos are not very clear. Not every seller is very good at taking photos. Some sellers are just not so good. They don't respond. And that's usually a red flag. So don't even bother with that sale. A lot of them are auction based. So you may not even be able to buy the item, even if you wanted it, because if you don't win the bid, then it's over. Sometimes the items are not as described. It arrives because everyone's description is all relative. Someone can say it's good condition, but it arrives in really poor condition, whereas someone can say they're in excellent condition, but it arrives pristine. Usually that's not the case though. Returns are usually a hassle on eBay, unless it's like a store that's established on eBay, but usually people who sell their private things, independent things, they don't really offer a return policy. And of course, there's always taxes and duties involved, and you definitely can come across fakes or just fraudulent accounts on eBay, fraudulent sellers. So on eBay, it's a great place to buy only if you know what you're doing. In short, that's basically it. You're on mute, I think.
Okay, sorry.
All right, so the next layer that we want to talk about is personal shoppers. So we've got retail, we've got these amazing major luxury sites, we've got eBay. Then you also get your personal shopper. So here I'm just going to use the examples, just a few examples that I follow. I haven't really shopped at all these places myself. I've only used the middle one, Mirena, but I'm just using them as examples on this slide. So personal shoppers on IG. These people, they're usually not affiliated with the brand. They are just people like you and me. We could be, actually, me and Kat Pete can be personal shoppers one day. Like we literally could be just doing this as a hobby. And they're just basically helping you find or source an item. And sometimes they also do consignments. So they are a great resource to find really hard to get items, because usually these people have a long history, very well established with their essays. They might be a team of people who are from all over the place, so they can source from worldwide, from different boutiques in the world. So that's what's good about personal shoppers. They can really help you find the very hard to get items, and they sometimes offer consignment services. What's not so good about personal shopping, or some of the cons of personal shopping, is again conversion fees, because they're usually located somewhere else. So when you pay them, you're basically at a disadvantage because you're not shopping locally. There's usually a fee involved because they're not doing this for free. I mean, they need their time to reach out to their essays. They're using their relationship, they're networking to help you out. So they will usually charge you a fee. Sometimes it's fixed, sometimes it's a percentage. And if it's a premium item, then they're going to charge you a premium. I don't even know how much, to be honest, because sometimes I will inquire about an item, but it will usually also say premium if they know that it's a really hard to get item. They'll just say premium. So you probably should not even bother asking if you're not ready to pay premium. They always require a payment in advance. So they will ask about, say you are interested about a bag, and they will usually ask their essays if it's available. If it's available, they'll ask you for your payment before they will actually buy it. So usually their essay might be able to maybe hold it for them for a very short time, and you'll have to pay them right away. Then they'll get it for you. So you don't get it till you pay for it, right? And sometimes if the timing is not right, they might not be able to get it even right after you pay it. So depending on how fast you pay them too. Taxes and duties on import. I always get that question. I always include it. I always say it because they're usually, when I shop from my personal shoppers, they're usually from the States. You always have to factor that into your costs as well, because that's just the rule. I mean, you can't avoid it. You have to pay your taxes and duties. And they never offer returns. Very rarely, I feel like maybe if they had a very difficult client or something went wrong, then maybe there's a return, but usually there's no return. So it's pretty much, you have to be sure of what you're getting or what you want to get. And sometimes these personal shoppers, like I said, these people are just like you and me. Sometimes they're fakes. Yeah. Like they are not real personal shoppers. Like they're not as honest, basically. They say they're a personal shopper, but they are actually scamming you, or they are just there to make a quick buck. So they're not actually doing you a favor. They're actually there to get you, basically. So you have to sort of, I would say word of mouth is a good place to start. Usually if you have a lot of people that that have used them, that they're reliable. So that's one way of finding out. But yeah, it's your comfort level as well. Some people just, if you're averse to risk, then again, my advice to you is to not go with them, because they're great. They're amazing, especially if you can't find the item, but there are pros and cons to everything. And to me, personal shoppers, unless you think you are, unless the person is really honest, and unless they have had good feedback, I wouldn't move forward with personal shopping myself. And they usually cost more because they're doing you a favor or not doing you a favor. They're offering you a service, so you have to pay for that service.
Awesome. Yeah. So thanks, Amy. So yeah, so as you can see, we are, when we talked about eBay and personal shopping, this is when the third layer of this luxury shopping, places to shop for luxury, it starts to get a little bit more risky. It starts to get a little bit more challenging. There's a bit more work for you to do to ensure you're getting an authentic item. So the final one are something that I guess, because of social media, has really, really picked up in the past, I would say maybe 2 to 3 or 4 years. Yeah, for me, about 2 to 3 years. So the ones that I've posted here are really based on my personal experience. I have used each of them: Love Lux Luxury, Lux Luxicon, Your Authentic Seller, for various stuff. And these are resellers on IG, Instagram, and I do feel like some of them have Facebook as well. These I feel have, I've done my research to say that I trust them. But having said that, if you are really willing to try IG sellers or Facebook sellers, you have to do your due diligence, because they are not affiliated to any of the brands, just like the ones on personal shopping. They are just regular people who have set up a place for us to buy luxury. So they sell new, they do a bit of personal shopping, they do sell new, or maybe they source from various boutiques and other places. They do secondhand, and some of them also do consignment. But usually, from my experience, they are usually self-run, and maybe with a small team. Yeah. So let's talk about the pros and cons of it. Sometimes, okay, the pro is that it could be cheaper than retail, right? And sometimes you could negotiate the prices. I wouldn't say all the time they are cheaper, but a little bit of discount, and sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm getting a brand new unkept piece for a few $100s less. So definitely a pro. And because they have such a wide network, they are able to source, almost like a personal shopper, able to source from a variety of places and get hard to get items. An example will be like the multi-pochette. I saw several of these IG sellers get pieces that are almost impossible to get from the retail store. So they have a very extensive network. And sometimes they will also take back the thing that you bought from them. So they do offer consignment services, but usually at a deep discount. So based on my experience, sometimes they take about 30 to 50% cut of what you paid for it, which is very deep, but obviously they give you the service of helping you sell it. Now, what's not so great about these IG resellers is that, again, they have various of fees. So if you're reselling, they've got their markup fees, even, and then for like the multi-pochette, it was premium fees. And I inquired with one, it could go up to 50%, sometimes even 30% seems to be like a range, but it could go way higher. So these fees, they are usually, you don't see them, you have to ask, and if you have to be willing to pay. Now, deposit, again, is also usually required, and most times it's not refund. You cannot get it back. 30%, and that's basically you saying, I'm committed to buy. You can't change your mind, otherwise you lose the deposit. There are no warranties, there are no returns, usually, and it's usually stated on their IG or Facebook. And I feel like some of them also do self-authentication, meaning because they handle so much luxury items, they guarantee authenticity, but how they do authenticity is a bit vague, right? So because they're experienced, they do self-authentication. This thing about, scammers, frauds, fakes, can't avoid it, especially now that we're in the third layer of this shopping, where to shop. They're out there to get us, and sometimes these things that they pick up, so these resellers, they could be an authentic, they try their best, but it just passes into their whole network, and which is what we're going to talk about later. And finally, I wanted to, longevity of the establishment. IG is fairly new. Facebook is also, well, Facebook is quite established, but these groups, how do you know they're still going to be there 5 years from now? If you have a problem with your item, that you can go back to these resellers and say, hey, something wrong with my item. So will they be there 3 years from now, 5 years from now, maybe even next year? So it's not about being fake. It's just the longevity of how long they can last in this social media space. So again, echoing Amy, it really depends on your level of how risk adverse you are and how willing you are to take the risk to buy from these places. Because besides scams and all, there are definitely all of these other things to consider. Okay, so now let's get into some eye candy. And I guess this is something that all of us fear if we don't buy from the store and we don't buy from those authorized resellers. Anything below that, there are many more. I mean, we're just picking us eBay, we're picking just IG and all, but there are many other places to buy your luxury goods. And this is where we talk about super fakes. Now, before I let Amy to go through them, super fakes, when we say fakes, you think of something that maybe the LV is upside down. My goodness, in the past, 3-4 years, these fakes are so good. So Amy, take it away.
All right. So like Kat said, super fakes, they're AAA grade. Like they're really good. Okay. Except for this first slides is a fun one. So on the left, you have my earrings. Those are mine, my own photo. And on the right, those are photos I found online. Honestly speaking, for me, they're easy to spot. Like I can spot it, even if it's on IG, someone wearing them, I can tell that they're fake. Especially if I zoom in, like, on IG, you can still zoom in because the proportion is wrong. But for someone who doesn't own these earrings, for someone who doesn't care to be obsessed enough to look at all the details, because I love my earrings, so I'm a bit obsessed actually. They don't know any better. So I don't know if you saw the big CC ones on the bottom right. Those ones were sold on Poshmark. I was shocked. These were sold, and I was like, those don't look real at all. But on a picture and on Poshmark, you don't know any better. So that's how scary it is sometimes when you Well, when you don't shop retail and when you don't go through the places that sell them
I honestly can't
authorized from the
tell.
brand. Yeah.
I
So that's
honestly
just
can't
a fun
tell,
slide. Yeah, let's take a look at the next one. All right, so these are pictures that I found on this site also. And it just goes to show, look at the real and look at the fake differences. I mean, it's so minute, like the level of details that you have to like really inspect is ridiculous. I mean, for an average person or for someone who is completely new to the brand, there's no way for you to know if an item is indeed fake, because the level of details, I mean, look at the engraving on the pink bag with the hardware. I don't know, if I looked at it, I'd be like, oh, looks okay, like there's nothing wrong with it, but it is a fake because super fakes are that good. I mean, look at the hardware on the blue strap on the bottom. I don't know, like that's the problem. Like you cannot tell unless you have the item in front of you. And even if it's in front of you, you have to know what you're looking at. And so basically authenticators, what they do is they just have a lot of experience with the brand themselves and with looking at things up close and literally analyzing every micro differences. So that's how scary it is. Sometimes super fakes are the real, like they look like the real deal, because if you don't know any better, if you don't even think that it's fake, or if you don't even think to look, then you just don't know any better, right?
Yeah. I'm looking at the one right in the middle, the one with
Yeah,
the blue strap and the
yeah,
silver hardware. I swear it looks so real. It just,
exactly.
oh, it's crazy.
It is.
Super fakes are not like fakes are not like what we used to look at, right? Like you look at it, you're like, oh, yeah, that looks fake. Now they are so good. They have
Yeah.
improved over time. And yeah, that's
And that's the
scary.
scary part, because I mean the real deal usually, not usually, they are always like etched so clearly, and the fonts are the correct fonts, and like no matter what, no matter how small the engraving is, like look at the middle top one, that little small knob, no matter how small it is, it will be etched very, very clearly and finely. But that's the thing though, like even the super fakes now are getting to that level of expertise. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, anything can happen. So in a way, I guess that's why super fakes are so hard to spot, even for authenticators, if it's through images only, especially if you're not looking at it from like touching it yourself, right?
Yeah. Are we scaring all of you now?
I
Are we
think we are a
scaring
little bit. But
everyone on?
we're just trying to explain the severity or the seriousness of super fakes out there.
Yeah, and the difficulty of an ordinary person buying from non shops and non-authorized sellers. That is the level of difficulty and the challenge that we are going to be facing, or actually are facing, with these fakes. Okay, so now why? I'm so in the next few slides, I'm going to take you through, because why are super fakes so attractive? I mean, they look real, great. Let me tell you why. They're cheap. So these are some websites that I pulled it out. But if you just cover my real Givenchy bag, you just cover it. If you look at the one right in the middle, the one staring straight at you at $350, I swear, if I saw that, somebody carrying that, I could never tell that is a fake. The level of just difference, it's so little. The other one, the white one, if you're not familiar with the Givenchy brand on the bags, you probably couldn't tell. Maybe you have to feel it, smell it. It probably smells plasticky, but there are some little bits that tell you that, oh, it's a bit off. But the price of super fakes, they're good compared to the real thing, but they're not cheap as well, right? It's $300 over. That's quite a lot of money to pay, but it is an affordable price. Okay, so this is from another site of more level of detail, something that you actually have to go the next level down. She was sharing this, Anna, she was sharing about two bags, I believe these were also Antigonas of the fakes. And she was sharing that, just looking at the ones on the left, the red, which is real, and the fake, look at that kind of detail. It's just a little bit of, I would say, raised of the sewing. But an ordinary person would not have even picked that up. You'd be like, oh, maybe it's sewn like that. But honestly,
handmade.
Yeah, handmade. Yeah, exactly. Handmade. And then on this other side, on the left, on the right side, this would be, I would say, if you were to see this in store, you might complain and you say that, it's not sewn properly. Maybe this is a defective one, but I can't tell. I can't tell if it's the quality is bad or is it a fake. You know what I mean? Because I guess also, like, when I was complaining about my LV multi push, I said, the finishing at the end is not that perfect, but it's real. So that is the kind of thing that we are facing right now. Just a little bit of detail. All right. So coming back to that price of super fakes. Now, the one on the left is my Celine. The one on the right are the ones that I actually picked up from websites. And they are a good price. Celine is actually a very highly faked item. It's because, I guess, there's not too much detail to it. You actually probably need to feel the bag in person, but the simplicity of it makes it a very good candidate to be imitated and replicated, right? So honestly, if I saw somebody carrying this bag walking down the streets, I would have never in a million years think that it is a super fake. Okay, so let's talk about some that are like, really bad fakes. But if you're not familiar with the Birkin and Hermes, you can kind of get away with it for $120, maybe like, yeah, it looks like the bag, not really the bag. Obviously, for people like us who are so exposed to the bag, we've seen it so many times. Some of us have held it. You can probably see the fakeness of the bag, but for most ordinary people, if you were to get this from a store, you might not actually even pick it up because it looks about the same, right? But I can see it, obviously. All right, all these are fakes. Yeah, all of them. And just maybe the crocodile was like, that's maybe the material if you see it, but the clochette looks a little weird. This Lindy, I can honestly tell you, just based on that look, it looks pretty good. It looks a pretty good fake. This fake one, look at that stamping. It's almost perfection.
Yeah, it's so scary.
So scary, and you could pick this up from a reseller on IG and they might not even know. It's not their fault. They're not selling fakes. It's just that it just goes through their network because it's so good. And that garden party, I swear, it looks like the real thing.
I cannot even tell from here. Like, I'm like, what?
What? Yeah, what? Okay. This is another one. Look at the price. Look at that great price for the Birkin. $286.
Just buy a Coach.
I know. Okay, so let's go one more. All right, so enough of bags. Let's talk about jewelry. Jewelry is another one that is very, very highly faked because of the high price point of the real thing, right? People probably are mixing real with fakes as well because it's hard to catch. It's too small. The engraving is too deep, too fine, and it's just really challenging to say what's real and what's not. So, yeah. So, okay, let's end with this. Don't buy it. Just don't buy it. no matter how great the price is, Amy put it right, love yourself enough to buy authentic. Buy from retail if you
Yeah.
can afford it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's nothing wrong with not being able to afford the luxury bag today because, I mean, we're all at different stages. Today, you might be able to afford your local boutique or Coach or Kate Spade. Those are perfectly fine. Why bother with fake? And to buy a fake is to support this whole other I don't it's not even a gray area. It's like a black market of like just like I don't know, child labor maybe. I don't know. Or not even child labor, but just like a lot of things that are not right, not done ethically. And it's just wrong. And it's, are you a fake person? Why are you wearing fake things? If you're not a fake person, you should wear real things. So yeah, love yourself enough to buy authentic. And it doesn't have to be luxury. Just start wherever you are capable of and then work your way up.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That is like
I think we almost spent an hour. Wow.
Ultimate. Okay, just give me a second. Let me come back on here.
I think I saw tons of questions.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
we're gonna have
anyway,
a good time going through it today.
Our slides. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up for this.
You guys, yeah.
We worked hard.
Mm-hmm.
We worked hard. Okay, so let me just scroll up, and wow, we've got so many questions. Now, just before we end this whole segment and we get into your questions, we are actually, like I said earlier, we're making this live stream into a 2-part series. So we talked about, where you should buy your luxury items, and we talked about retail, and then from the authorized sellers, and then we go into the more like that area where you get great deals. You get vintage bags. It's still a good place to shop, but you need to know your stuff. You need to do your research. You need to take the risk a little bit. So going on this line, next week we have a really, really special guest. She is a real life authenticator, and it's going to be on Amy's channel. So if you have any questions for our guest next week, put it in the comment section. I will pick it up. We'll pass it to her, and she will be here next week on Amy's channel to answer your questions. So that's going to be so exciting because authentication, right? We got one. We're so excited to have her on our channel and our live stream.
And when Kat said comment section, I think she meant like the actual like video comment section, not the live stream, because like,
oh yes,
that will be a little hard to sift through. Like go to the actual comment section, like below the description, and then put it there.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, let's get into your questions. And like we said all the other times, is to put a bunch of question marks at the front so that we can see it, and I'll put it into the main screen. So let's go. Katie, love it. Will you buy a secondhand handbag if it doesn't come with a receipt?
It's not ideal. I would, because no receipt doesn't mean that it's not authentic. A lot of times I also personally don't like to put the receipt, not because I don't want to, but a lot of my personal information is on there. So unless I black out my personal information, like such as my address, my telephone number, especially because some people know me from YouTube. I mean, unless I sell it locally and they don't know that I'm on YouTube, maybe I feel safer. But like a lot of times I just prefer not to. But if I sell it to Kat, then obviously I'll give her my receipt. That's no problem. But like I won't say no to an item just because there's no receipt. At the end of the day, you have to get your item authenticated, or just know that you're buying it from a trustworthy person, because they only buy real stuff. Then yeah, that's how I would go about. What do you think?
Same. I've bought, like, my Birkin doesn't have a receipt, right? And I've got it authenticated a few times. With some of my bags, I do have receipts. So it really depends. Of course, prefer to have the receipt. But even though you have the receipt, you should still get it authenticated. So anything that we talked about earlier, like the different levels, the third level you should. It's something that you should do for your own comfort. It doesn't cost much nowadays, and you can actually bring it to authenticating shops if you have one nearby. So it's not such a big deal, but obviously it would be nice to have it as well. Lillian, have you purchased pre-owned from Japan? Do you trust buying there given there is strict laws around counterfeits? I'll take this. I've bought one bag so far from a consignment shop from Japan, and it was my Speedy Neo. That's my only one, and I did that through eBay. And also, wow, just the thought, it was quite scary. I did buy it because I know Japan has very strict laws. And I guess it's true then, but echoing our earlier statement about super fakes, unless you can actually see the bag in person, feel it, touch it, smell it, use it, it's quite challenging. So yeah, I guess they do have strict laws, but they are also ordinary people, looking at the bags, and there's so many of them in Japan. So
I have purchased also from eBay. Actually, 2 items that came from eBay, vintage as well. So my Dior clutch and my Chanel belt. And yeah, it's like I said, it's a great place to find items on eBay, especially Japanese consignment stores, the ones that are, the ratings over the roof or near perfect. So I say I trust it, but I still got it authenticated, right? So I would still do the authentication thing. Yeah.
This is okay. So yeah, definitely do authentication. So Shanna's asking me about retail purchases. Have I tried to buy from Singapore and bring it back to Malaysia, and customs, do I need to declare it? Oh, for customs, well, I've never declared my bags because they are my used bags. I'm not bringing brand new bags back into Malaysia. Most of the bags I've used here, and it's just like my bag that I bought in Singapore. I guess if you do buy brand new, you do need to declare it actually. And I have done it when I traveled from like France and all, but on my just, traveling between 2 countries, because I'm using the bag, I don't think it's necessary. Maybe can somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's just my bag, right?
No, but I think you actually buy the bags in Singapore. You use it in Singapore, right?
Yeah. It's my bag from Singapore. So it's a little bit different. Like if I'm buying the bag to bring back to Malaysia to use, then definitely you should be declaring it, because if they catch you, they might confiscate the bag and they might just tax you tremendous amounts to get it back. So yeah, it's the bag that I'm paying taxes in Singapore for.
You should always declare it anyway. Yeah. Like nowadays, if you are importing or exporting, you should always declare it. Yeah.
Bits and bags, why don't they include all the extra packaging if they are approved stockists? This is for you, Amy. I guess this is like Louisa.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I what is the context of this question? I'm not sure. But yeah, packaging is I'm assuming sometimes, for example, I have sold really large items before, like the Deauville tote. Do you know how big the Deauville box is?
Yeah.
It's like 50 pounds. So I cannot include that box because the shipping itself will will probably be like, I don't know, $200 just for the box, right? So I'm thinking along the lines of that. If I'm correct, if this is the context of the question, so sometimes that could be the reason. It's just not reasonable to ship a huge, humongous box, and a lot of times the buyer is really understanding too in that case. I mean, unless they want to pay $300 just for the box, right? Yeah, I think that's what you mean. I'm not sure. Approved stockist.
What about, okay, I think she's maybe like Louisa Roma. Like, have you, when you buy from Net-a-Porter or Louisa Roma,
right.
do they put like everything inside, like the
ribbon? I get it. Okay, good point. Okay, so Louisa Via Roma is actually really good. They do include, I think they include all the packaging. Like they will give you the bomb. Did I buy Balmain from Louisa? I bought Balmain from Matches Fashion, from Farfetch. they did not have hangers. But I don't know if it comes with hangers when you buy Balmain though.
Mm. You might have
But
to
when I
ask
bought
for
from
it.
Essence, I did get hangers for, I can't remember what brand it is. I did get hangers. Okay, so yeah, that is a good question. I don't know.
Mm.
But Match's fashion, they're not as good with like, you know, the original, say, Gucci box or original whatever. Like I feel like it's a matter of size and maybe also a matter of maybe how they obtain their, like, I'm just making this up, but I feel like maybe even though they're authorized stockists, maybe the reason why they're able to offer a better price is maybe the way they receive it in bulk. It doesn't come with everything, maybe, but the
True.
items are original.
True.
That's just what I think. I'm not exactly sure.
Mm.
And even when you buy retail, I have noticed too, sometimes they just ran out because they have basically all the packaging in one place and they just grab it from there, right?
Yeah.
So when they run out, they can't give you one. Like, let's say they run out of the dust bag, the original dust bag, they can't give you one. So sometimes they'll like have a good essay, they'll remember and they'll give you one next time. But when they run out, they just can't, right? So I think that's the reason, maybe. Just the way it came is not like Chanel. It comes in its own box and its own tissues. So basically that's how they sell it to you. They sell, or the Hermes bag, it comes in its own box. That's how they sell it to you. So I would think that's the reason.
Yeah. I guess for me, like I don't know, personally, this is a little side topic, but right now, since I bought quite a lot of luxury stuff, I don't actually want the packaging.
That too.
I mean, just give me the paper
Where do
bag
you
to
put
put
it?
the bag inside, and I'm good to go. And maybe like a small box, not too big. But with everything else, I'm like, you know, I don't know. But not all the time, right? Depends.
Yeah.
Sometimes too much packaging is also.
Like if it's
Okay.
your first one, you want the packaging, but if it's your 10th one, you're like, oh, just give me
I
the
have no
bag.
more space in the house. Oh, we got a super chat from
Oh, yay!
Live of MC. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, girl. Thank you. All right. Thinker in the shower. Is H gold or shiny gold from Chanel more scratch resistant?
Mm.
I feel like with H gold, not to say scratch resistant, maybe just not so obvious. They probably both scratch just as bad.
I think
Is that
so.
on the H gold, maybe you can't see it so much. Maybe.
And it depends on how deep the scratch is. Because I feel like if it's a really deep scratch, it shows up more on age gold. Whereas the shiny, yeah. I think some people are just more rough with their bags and some are not. Like I have even my jumbo doesn't have that much scratch on it. And my jumbo is it's not vintage, but it's secondhand from 2009, 2010. And it's fine. It just depends on the user.
True. Yeah, I think so. I feel like if it's matte, like the H gold is sort of like it's kind of like a coating, maybe that's when you actually can see the scratches more. But if it's not too deep, I feel like both would not. You won't really see it anyway because we are paying attention to our things like this.
We really are. And then we keep the stickers on as long as possible. And then if it peels off, then yeah, sure, we'll peel it off.
Oh, I did just peel off my sticker from my new
I
bag.
saw you did peel off your sticker.
Oh, let's do it. Okay, Shanna's saying, I heard eBay have fake stuff. I'm so scared.
There's a lot. Shanna, there is a lot, but it's not just eBay. Like I said, Poshmark, those earrings, I could not believe that those were sold for $300. And yeah, it's everywhere. If someone wants to scam you, they will scam you.
Yeah, that's
that is the problem. Just like any profession, there's always the good people that are doing their job right and the ones that are not, but it's still their profession, right?
Yeah. They're out to get you, they will get you unless you are so good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Shanna again, an ideal any ideal in fashion
Idea in
involves the rating of the condition of the bag is rated by the seller of fashion file. Oh, I feel like I haven't bought from fashion file before, but I feel it's fashion file's rating.
Mm-hmm.
You think so?
Yeah, I have not bought from Fashion File either. I have sold with them, and I okay. I don't know if it's because I look a lot at their listings, so even though I have not bought it. Um, but I feel like it depends on who's the person rating it. I feel like some items are rated, say, excellent, and to me they're just a good condition, and some are excellent but they look like they're brand new. So I feel like it really is the person rating it,
Mm.
and just that's just based on my observation, based on the photo that was there online at that time. So like I said, everyone's relative, right? I am super picky with my items, and when I say it looks brand new, it really does. Right? So it just depends on the person, I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's basically echoing what you said earlier, right? How do we rate something? To us, it looks near perfection, but when you bring it to somebody who's really picky, maybe fashion files really picky, one of their persons who's receiving is really picky, they might say, "No, this is grade D," and it doesn't align because your pickiness and how detailed you are will depend on the rating. But yeah. Okay, let's see this one from TT. We got a lot of questions, so we're going
I
to try to go
know.
get through
We
most of
gotta
them.
hurry up.
Even if it's a genuine personal shopping deal, another con is if there's any defect or imperfections on the bag.
That is so true.
That's
That is
true.
very true. Yeah. But I feel like this could be the same with buying from retail too, because I think that's why in the luxury community we talk about, oh, the quality is going down. It's not so much that they do it on purpose. I think it's just like the volume and everything. It just forces the whole system is different now. It's not that our expectations are still high, but like the company and like how much they have to churn out it is what it is in a way. So when I shop, I look at everything, right? And sometimes even little imperfections I have to accept because that's the only one they have, or that's the best one that they have out of 3 or whatever. Yeah, so it's sometimes it's a personal shopper. Maybe they don't look at it as in detail as you would have liked, and sometimes it is also just what they were presented with. And
Yeah,
I
totally
feel
agree.
that's yeah. Even when I shop retail, I feel that too. It's kind of like the reality now in a way. Yeah.
Sad.
It is a little sad, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this is a comment from Joyce, and I thought it's interesting because what you're saying is this is the third layer of shopping, right? So we're trying to talk at the same theme. So third layer of shopping, there are people on IG that are selling bags under a payment plan and at a premium price. So this is actually probably how a lot of personal shoppers get started in their career, because they have an extensive network and they are able to go to many shops to help people buy. So we talked about it earlier, right? They most likely self-run or may have a few people that they network with, and they know a lot of essays, they know a lot of client advisors, and they just pull together the resources. I would say they're actually very entrepreneurial because they are resourceful, they know what they want, they know how to get it, they're out there, and I feel like the premium price is all their hard work. But yeah, people, they eventually, I feel like they will turn out to be personal shoppers. What do you think, Amy?
Yeah, totally agree. I think premium price is where it gets me sometimes, because are you charging a premium because it's a hard to get item? Then it's understandable. But are you charging it because you're offering the payment plan? I guess, that's the thing. That's their choice, though. They didn't do anything wrong. And you're, as a seller, you also have a decision to make. If you accepted it then it's you're kind of entering an agreement with that seller, right? So it's give and take, and it's yeah, you have to agree to buying it in the first place, right? So you don't have to buy it,
Yeah, true.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, think of it like a bank. They're giving you interest free.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah,
actually
yeah,
doing you
yeah.
a favor, because
So I
they
don't.
bought it first
Yeah.
and they paid their own money and they're allowing you to split the payments. So yeah, a little bit of premium. I think that's fine. Rather than you plump
Mhm.
5,000 from your savings, they're allowing you to pay it in 3 or 4, maybe 6 months, which is most personal shoppers probably won't. I don't know. Some may. Some might.
Exactly. And to
Oh,
be
guess
on a
who's
payment
here?
plan, it's hi babe.
Hi, Gina. Yes, fakes are getting so good. They are. They are. They are so scary, so good. So I don't know. It's just yeah. Oh, here's one from. Oh, this is an interesting one. Okay, Alexis. I'm curious if entropy can authenticate vintage pieces 20 years or more. I don't know actually.
That's yeah, that is an amazing question. I don't know either. All I know is that it's AI based, so it's all programmed, it's all computerized. I know that they do a very good job at going through a lot of items, and they supposedly take very close up photos. To That's how, I mean, that's how they compare, right? But I personally wouldn't just trust entropy alone for authentication. It's a good way to start. It's a good place to start for sure. But like I said, when I did my research on eBay Authenticate, like that section where apparently there's the last step is that there's actually someone looking at it. Now, whether that someone is very qualified, I don't know, but at least there's a person who actually does look at it after it passes entropy. So I would do the same thing if like if I got it, if I bought something that was entropy authenticated, I would still get it authenticated by someone else. You know what I mean? Like I would still do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like with AI, because that's like the hot new thing. AI, machine learning, intelligence, stuff like that. It's still quite, I won't say it's in infancy, but it is something that you will see maybe in the future getting even more and more. But it's still about learning, right? The machine has to learn. So it'll probably make a lot of mistakes along the way before it says, oh, okay, oops, yep, here we go. That's the right one. So yeah, I would do the same with like Amy. If it's entropy verified, I am so suspicious that I would still get it authenticated by a real person. Touch, feel, see, can make judgment. So yeah. Okay, so I think there's this question from Shopping Girl. To clarify my point, are you saying that IG sellers charge a fee on top of the listed prices that they post on IG? No, I'm not saying that. Some IG sellers would post the price that they sell, and that's the price that you're gonna pay. But that price could be already a marked up price that you see. Then there are also some IG sellers that don't put a price. They'll just give you all the information and you don't see the price. They probably have the listed price somewhere else, but most likely that listed price is also marked up. Then there are those that say premium price, hard to get items, and then it's definitely marked up. But if they do post the price, that's the price that you will pay. Nowadays, I feel like they do post it just because I guess maybe people keep asking.
Yeah.
But there are some that still don't post. They'll just give you all the information. If you want it, pay that price.
Yeah. And premium doesn't always mean that it's bad, honestly, because I've done some comparison, like for example, those really hard to get earrings that everyone's coveting. Sometimes let's say retail is 400, but then they're selling it at premium 800, right? So that's double the price. But if you go to Fashion File, those same earrings are at $1,600. So it's like the better of the least evil. It doesn't mean that premium is bad. It just means that they helped you find it. they're going to charge you for it, but you have to research yourself which one is the lesser of a premium that you can get the same item if you really want to get it, or just don't get it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the one maybe like the Speedy Nano, that was hot. Well, I think it's still really hot. And if you really, really love that bag so much, and it's near impossible, maybe now it's better, but near impossible to get it from store, just, you might want to pay the premium. And the
Yeah.
premium is not like, the premium is not like double, some are, okay, some are. I'm not going to say for everything, but sometimes the premium is just like a little bit more. And you're going to, oh my gosh, I don't know when am I going to get it, 1 year from now, 2 years from now. It might actually be worth paying that, premium, because they have it ready for you.
Yeah.
So it's not always a bad thing.
Yeah, it's a service. You're paying for a service.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so
It's
I'm
a
just
love and hate relationship.
Oh no, it jumped. Oh, this is what happens when they're. Oh man, we heard so many questions.
I know.
We're not
I
complaining,
have a
not
feeling we might have
complaining.
to continue this next week.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I got this point from TT. I'm going to put it here because I want to reiterate this. Yeah. TT says, my cousin buys fakes for herself and her teenage daughters. I don't know what to say. I just don't want to talk about it. And our last slide, if you came in a little later, you can just scroll back later and watch. Amy put a really good quote to say that, love yourself enough to buy authentic. And it doesn't have to be authentic luxury brands. Just real, right? It doesn't have to be LV. It doesn't have to be Chanel. It doesn't have to be the new hot expensive thing. It's just the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yes. Wait. Wow. Okay, here we go. This is for our guest authenticator. A specific brand. I don't know. We'll post it to her. I think she authenticates everything.
Is there? Oh, okay. That is a good question to ask her, actually. Because I know not all authenticators authenticate everything. Like some people may not want to touch Hermes because it's like another whole other ball game, right? So it would be a great question to ask her, actually. Yeah.
Yes, I'll put forward for her. Okay, Erica, this question is really interesting. Now, how do you feel about a growing subreddit community that's teaching consumers where and how to buy fake goods? Did you see this, Amy, in your research?
Subreddit, I don't know what subreddit means.
Maybe the underground?
Oh, okay. Oh, I did not see that, but while I was researching, right? And I had to use a incognito window because I didn't want to all have like super fake things coming up on my browser next time, like because they cache it, the cookies. So while I was researching, I just came across so many videos, resources on like being proud to buy a super fake that looks like the real deal, and I'm just like confused. Like, how are you proud that you didn't spend the retail price on an item that is not even real? Like, I just don't understand this whole other mentality or community of people that do that.
Totally.
I just don't understand.
So same as you, I should have done the incognito, which I totally forgot because I was researching and trying to get all those pictures and everything. And Erica, I did bump into this Reddit community. And for like, I think maybe 1 hour, I want to say bewildered, but I was just quite fascinated in this Reddit group because I was reading all the comments. It's like a Purse forum version of people sharing names of sellers making fake goods, and comments were like, "Oh, you need to contact who and who with this, account because her or his Celine bag is so good, it's a great price, and it's like a mini purse forum, but for fake luxury goods. So I tried to go into those sites, but I got kicked out. Maybe you need a proper, maybe a different uh LAN.
Uh,
Like
wow.
you need a VPN to get in. You can't just go
Whoa.
in to some of
Wow.
these sites. I was quite fascinated and a bit taken aback, because there are communities looking for it, and we're not policing it. We're not, definitely not in this live stream, but it's just that we all here, 300 of us here, we hope that we encourage you to support the authentic side of things, because the other side, you don't really know how they're sourcing their stuff. You don't really know how they're paying their workers, and it's really gray and dark and black, that side. Whereas this side, hopefully it's a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even if you don't buy buy a dupe. Like I just watched Maria's video recently, and she got scammed with the
Oh,
sweater that she bought, and she said it at the end. She's like, she'd rather buy Zara. And it's perfectly fine to buy Zara. Like Zara, they are inspired with
yes,
their stuff is inspired by the runway, by the up, and they are always up and coming. Like their designs are always on point, and it's
yes.
perfectly fine. The quality is not that great, but that's fine. Like don't buy fakes. Just buy at least the legitimate dupes. And yeah, there's so many more ways that you can do it rather than just get the fake item.
That's a good point. Like how do you pronounce the name?
Maria,
Maria.
Dragonova, I think her name
Yeah,
is.
if you haven't watched that, it was quite upsetting, because she
Mhm.
was scammed, right? She was scammed, and she is a luxury buyer, but because you buy through photos and everything, and she knew because she touched, felt, smelled, looked, and was like, okay, this is fake. But yeah, that's
And
a good point. Buy
yeah,
from Zara. I buy from Zara. Like, I love it because they are inspired. Yeah, inspired, but they're not coming on
they
and say,
didn't put
"Oh,
a Chanel logo on it,
nothing."
right?
It's their take on the fashion shows designs, right? And that's how everybody inspires each other. You don't have to buy the replica fake one, because there are so many other better brands to support.
Mhm.
Okay, here we go. What would you
Would you
know if an
know?
item is purchased from retail store, a returned item? Hmm.
How would you know? I don't think you can know. You can
Yeah,
suspect it.
you can suspect it. That's true.
And sometimes maybe it's a floor, the one that they're showing on the floor, and people have tried it on many times as well. That could be it. Some stores refuse to sell those ones, and some stores don't. They just sell it anyway. So it really just depends on the store policy. Or maybe it's just like the employees. I'm not sure, because sometimes I feel like it's the last one, you really want it, and they don't want to bother looking up another one for you or ordering one for you. Like I have had essays like that, and then I'm just like, no, I don't want it.
Yeah, yeah. We won't know unless it's been used a few times. But even so,
Mhm.
I feel like luxury shops right now, like, I don't know about other countries, but in Singapore, I have only I think all my life I've returned maybe one item, one or two items. Yeah, one or two items. One was this defective, and then one was brand new and didn't touch, and I returned it. They actually don't just take your item and say, "Oh, you're returning it." In Singapore, my essay was looking at it like, to make sure I didn't use it, because if there was a little scratch, they probably won't take it back. So he was actually checking if I used it, and I was, obviously, I didn't use it. I know myself, right? I didn't touch it. I just kept it in the box. But he was like just checking, just to make sure that this item is still, it can be sold again, right? And I was like, oh, okay, looked at it. And I don't know about other stores' policies. How do they inspect the return item?
Yeah, well, I think here they ask a colleague to look at it after they look at it themselves too. But
Mm,
I just feel like the standards sometimes are different, even between different people. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like some people just they're just not as they just don't look at the details as well as some of us do. If it
yeah.
was me, a lot of things won't pass.
No, no, this is has a little. Can you see that 0.00001 mm scratch? Okay, Nina, how do y'all feel about Fashion File and Rebag?
I don't know
I haven't.
Rebag. Do you know Rebag? Is it?
No.
Oh, okay. Fashion File, I'm fairly confident they're okay. I heard that they are more stringent. Like they would rather refuse things than to say that it's real. Let's say if you consign with them. Um, but I don't know about Rebag. And like
Yeah.
I said, I've only sold with Fashion File. I haven't bought from them. I do look at their listings a lot, but that's about it. Yeah.
I think Fashion File is big enough and they are established enough to know what they're putting out is real and fake, and also putting out a ranking for the real stuff, right? They go through their process, right? So but yeah, I don't know much about Rebag.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's take a break from all the fake stuff from Ivy's asking, do you baby your Gabby? I'll give this to Amy. Bottom is smooth and delicate, prone to scratches. Do you have any problem with it? When in store, and all three of them had a scratched bottom.
Oh, really? Wow, that's terrible. How did they even handle it? Okay, so I don't I don't think I baby my bags, but maybe for someone else's standard, I do baby my bags. I just I just am very conscious of where I put it, how I wear it. Even when I wear my bags, like especially like sometimes on your jackets there's a lot of hardware. Then on those days, I'll just wear my canvas bags because I know canvas won't scratch that easily. But I won't wear my leather bags if I know they're constantly rubbing on it or the zippers or whatnot. Just because I've had past experience like that and I've learned my lesson. Like sometimes even the clothes that you wear, if there's like a button here and like keeps
That's a
scratching your
good
bag,
point.
it's just no good. Um, so perhaps to some of you, I do baby my bags, but I'm just very conscious as to where I put it. I'm very self-aware. I just am that kind of person.
That's
I don't think
really
I'm
good.
babying it.
That's a really good tip, Amy. Like, be aware of the clothing and all the like little rivets and everything, right?
Mhm.
That's a good one for me, actually. I'm very aware of color, like because I
Mm,
had the experience of color transfer. But
yeah,
I wear a lot of jeans, shorts, and with shirts, there's a lot of rivets, like little buttons sticking out,
yeah.
and maybe at the back. And I'll just sling my bag, and that's a really good tip. So, people, good
Jeans
tip
are
today.
okay. I mean like leather jackets with like a side zip pocket, like those big chunky zippers sometimes they're no good. Yeah, or the
Mm,
buckles that are hanging like the moto jackets with the leather buckle hanging out, like those are no good.
no good for our bags. No good.
Yeah. Just
Okay,
wear a
let's go.
casual bag.
Maria, what do you think of the YSL Nano Sec de Jour in croc embossed leather? Looks very cute. Have we tried the House of Siage perfumes, and what do you think of it? So, two questions. So, the first one, YSL Nano Sec de Jour. What is that? What bag is
It
that?
I'm pretty sure that's all looks like a Birkin with a two
Oh,
handle
okay,
and it
okay,
has
okay.
a strap inside, but the nano size, I don't really know what the nano size is. I'm assuming small, but I haven't tried it. And no, I have not tried the perfumes either. I like
Yeah.
the
No,
Sac du
no.
Jour look.
It looks nice.
Yeah, I think in the end, buy what makes your heart sing. It's so hard for like if even if I don't like it, it doesn't mean that you won't like it, right?
True, true.
And I don't know if I like it or not because I haven't tried it.
Yeah. Okay, Shanna. But isn't if we sell our luxury bags, would it cost more if we have the dust bag and box? You mean like, I'm assuming your
Oh,
question is like, would we get a better price if we have everything?
I think that's what she means. Yeah. Usually, yes. Like
Yeah,
if you include everything, usually people prefer that so you can be more that you can ask for like the the fair price. I guess I think that's what you mean. Usually, yeah. Um,
I think so. Like, okay, if you just turn the table around. If you were buying it from the second hand, wouldn't you prefer the full set with the
I
receipt, the
do.
box, the dust bag, the keys, the lock, the everything? You would prefer, and because of that, you would pay whatever like you would want to pay. But if the seller tells you, oh, it's only with the bag, immediately, naturally, you would discount it. You're like, what, bag only?
No,
Negotiate a
but
little
there's
bit cheaper.
also because when you sell privately, for example, usually the buyer has to pay for the shipping, right? That's how it is usually, unless the seller wants to include shipping too. And so shipping can cost so much more. Like for example, that huge, humongous Deauville box, like it's case by case. Like if it's a small box or a medium sized box, yeah, it's reasonable to include everything and and I would want to, like, as a seller, I would want the buyer to have the same experience as receiving a brand new bag from the store, for example. But sometimes it's just not possible to include that much, like to include that huge big box. And when I mentioned receipt earlier, I meant it from a privacy's point of view. So I can still include the receipt if it's okay with the buyer to know that I will use a marker and like literally erase my address or telephone number on it. Like as long as they're okay like that, I will include it, like no problem, you know, and as long as I have the receipt to give you. Um but it's more for a privacy issue. It's not because I don't want to include everything. It's just because I don't want you guys to come over to my house and like, I don't know, whatever, like not you, but
It's true. Privacy is everything now.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I I moved the little
It's okay.
thing.
I know it's
Yeah.
crazy today. There's a lot of comments because it's a topic that
Oh,
everyone, like every live stream, we get questions about these. That's why uh we're doing this. But you guys are
okay.
very passionate.
Okay, Jen, I heard superfakes get into some stores because a lot of essays cannot even do the secondary
Wow,
check. Yep. I have heard
that's
of this
possible.
happen, but maybe it's really rare cases. And again, we reiterate why we shouldn't support the superfake industry, because real people like us who buy from stores, when we might get into this whole loop, like what you saying, it gets into the store, taken back as a return, SA doesn't know, and it gets sold, and you who paid the real price are affected. So from a different perspective, um it could, and they're getting so good, they're getting so good.
Yeah, and I think if it gets to a point where stores no longer accept returns because of that reason, they could very well change their policy. I know in States it's still pretty flexible, but in Canada and I know in Asia it's not that flexible. They
Yeah.
even if they allow returns, it's just a store credit return or and you don't know if one day they might just change to no returns at all, even like they could totally do that.
Yeah.
um yeah, so yeah, it can happen, and I think that's just human error. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
urinary. And when this policy, this return thing, I think it's only in the States like that. There's such a flexible and very generous return policy. In Singapore and in Malaysia, no returns. LV does do returns, but every other store, and you're not even talking about luxury, okay? I can't even buy a t-shirt and return. Like, it's so strict. Maybe you get like a 3-day return policy, and it's basically with tags and everything. You can't even wear it. but it's not flexible. So people here rebuy and it's basically yours. They don't want it
I
back.
know, Kat. Like when I first, you can change the next question, but like when I went to Hong Kong, because I went to Hong Kong when I was young, like really young, but when I was old enough to like spend money, and I said, oh, I said to my aunt, like, oh, I bought this, but I'm not sure I want to return it, and she's like, what do you mean return? There's no return here. It's like there's no return. What do you mean return? And I'm like, what? But it's like it's a chain store. I'm like, no, there's no return here in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I think it's getting a little bit more prevalent now. Like I think they're starting to offer returns sometimes, but it's still depending on the store. Like Uniqlo will do returns, but not every store will do it. Like if maybe the biggest stores will do it.
Yeah. I mean, same here. I mean, it's getting there. I mean, in the past, I would say 5 years, you would see more of it. But naturally, I'm so used to not buying and returning. So it's not something that I think of. You
Yeah.
buy and basically it's yours. But even so, it's still not flexible. It's like
Yeah.
maybe 1 week. 1 week is not a lot of time. And
Yeah.
and even if it's sometimes it's not return, it's exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exchange for a different size or a different color, but your money, no.
Exactly.
Okay, Serenity, what are your thoughts on the outlets? So this is, I guess, outlet shopping, like Saint Laurent, Gucci, and all.
They're okay. Usually, I think they offer the styles that are really past season. And I hear some outlet stores, but that's like Coach. I don't know about the actual Gucci and Saint Laurent. Those I don't know if they actually make outlet items. That I'm not sure. I think it's fine. Like outlet items are still real items.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. They're still real. But that's a good point, Amy. I watched this YouTube. Was it a YouTube or something where some places, some brands make items for outlets.
Yeah.
So I think it was a YouTube video. I can't really remember. This newscaster did it. She bought something from the outlet, exactly the same as something from the retail store. And when she compared it side by side, there were like little bit of differences in terms of the material used, the stamping, the zip, the buckles and all. But if you just put them like apart, they look like the retail thing. But actually, they're made for the outlet, which is very interesting. I was quite surprised with that because I always thought outlet is past season.
They used to be just past season, and then they just realized the outlet industry is so it's a lucrative, and then also like there's a huge market, right? So that's why they changed their strategy. They started making items just for outlet as well, and they also include past season items in their store. It's very prevalent in North America. Yeah.
All right, from KK Love CC. This is something for all of us to hear. Chanel is having a price increase.
Is it on everything though? Not classics, but Coco Handle for sure. Has anyone heard of it in the US? So I have not heard of it in Canada, but usually my essays don't really tell me until it's already done. But yeah, it seems like everyone is in the know, and I've seen it on, I think on Gina told us about Korea, seeing it on the Korean Facebook group. And then someone posted on IG today about the UK. And I'm guessing, like, usually we find out these information before and they usually end up to be true. So I would say it's probably true.
Yeah, probably true if you're getting... I don't think I'm betting that they won't do it on the classics anymore because I just feel like maybe they've done a good increase on the classics this year. Maybe on the stuff that have not been done, so they're like phasing it.
Yeah, maybe they're doing they're pulling a LV. They're doing it little by little on like certain things, and I feel like probably SLGs, because their SLGs are still well priced. So SLGs, probably costume jewelry, certain bag styles, probably. That's just my guess though. I have no idea. I don't work for them. I wish. No, not really.
Okay, let's go this. Oh, Shanna's got another question here. I think especially for online nowadays, those return items they will check properly just in case the items were exchanged for a fake one. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
True. True.
And they should, to protect themselves. Yeah. But that's the thing. If we should not abuse this, right? As consumers, we should not abuse the policies because they can always change the policies. And also, if the fakers, people that return fakes a lot, maybe they will start doing it. And then we will all lose in the end. We won't have any benefits of returns anymore, which
Yeah,
sucks because the innocent suffer.
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Man, there's I'm not complaining, but my little cursor keeps skipping up and down. So if I miss
That
any of your
cat is
questions,
working
I
really hard at scrolling, so you
sincerely,
guys better like this video.
yeah, I sincerely apologize. It's like, oh, where is it?
I know because when you guys put like comment a lot, which is amazing, but the comment just keeps jumping really fast.
Love it.
It's a hard job for the host.
Okay, Deborah. Deborah, I think earlier I saw a comment that you do buy from Pre-Loved and all from other sites. So you returned an item from Tiffany, and after doing so, you found out it was a knockoff, and you really good on you. You told Tiffany, and they said thank you, not to worry. Wow,
Wow.
but still,
Yeah, that is very scary. Like I said, human error. Someone accepted a fake item as a return probably and then was resold.
okay. So I guess this is for you, Amy. Maybe she's Jennifer's asking, what's your experience with Marina?
Yeah.
Bought from her. How do you know? How do you
Could
whether
even
they sell
well-established
fake?
personal shoppers sell fake items?
I guess it's not really Marina, but just like in general, right?
Yeah, so in general, yeah, even well-established people can sell fakes, maybe because but actually no, well-established, actually it's possible because someone can be well-established, and I'm not talking about Mirena, by the way, okay, not talking about her, but well-established just means that they're well-established.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they are honest, right? So
It's true. That's true.
so it could have anything can happen, okay? But that's just in general. Now my experience with so Andrea has been really good so far. I bought 3 things with her so far: 2 pairs of earrings, 1 bag, the bucket bag, and yeah, my experience is very, very professional with her. She's always very responsive. She does charge a fee, like you cannot avoid it, and like I said, you're paying for a service, so as long as you're okay with it, then yeah, go with her. Yeah, nothing to complain. She's very nice. She's always very responsive. Yeah. But as a buyer too, you have to be also have the courtesy to be nice to the seller too. Like they're people too, right? It doesn't matter what your relationship is. You're nice to her, then she'll be nice to you. Like hopefully that's the case, right? And yeah, so far she's been very professional, very nice, and very responsive.
So, and just like what Amy said just now, if they're out to scam you, they will scam you. But yeah, being well established gives them maybe that presence as well. But always do your due diligence, check, get the item, check. Because you're not buying from the retail and you're not buying from authorized. So personal shoppers, they're just doing you a favor and helping you out. So.
Yeah, sadly. Lux Dujour just shared a story on her Instagram. So Lux Dujour is a Canadian. You can just look for the next question. She's I don't know if it's a she, but it's a consignment company in Canada, and they just exposed the story of themselves helping out one of their own clients who bought a fake from some other company. So I don't know if it's on their stories still, but you can check it out if you're interested. So 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 the client who bought from that other place is supposedly well established, and they have a you know they even have like some social media personalities who shouted out to them, who talked about them, who bought stuff from them. So yeah, you can be well established, but if you're a scammer in the end, you're still a scammer. So it's all
Agreed.
anything is possible. Yeah. Are you
This is
hearing
an
my stomach?
interesting
I'm so
question.
hungry.
This is a
That was
good
me. Yeah,
question
the
from
noise is
Nina.
coming from me.
Odd question about ready to wear. My aunt has buckets of extra buttons from Chanel and Dior from her coats and blazers. She sews the buttons on other cardigans and shirts. Is this considered fake? No,
No.
no. She's
This is
repurposed.
DIY. I do DIY.
Yeah.
I would totally keep all the buttons if I don't want the garment anymore.
No, it's not fake.
Those are not
Definitely
fake, no.
no.
Those
It's
are
good
just
that she has a lot of buttons. She can make a lot of money by selling them, actually.
yeah. Actually, there's a lot of people who sell DIY projects. Like they would use buttons to make jewelry and they resell those. So those are not fake items. So those are just repurposed material.
Yeah.
That's different from fake. Fake is literally like you're pretending to be the real thing. No,
Yeah.
you're not. That's different. I don't know how to call that category of items.
I would say repurposed. I think I like the word. It's repurposed because even if you're not buying like a Dior or a Chanel, I buy my Zara clothes and they give me buttons, and I'm like, what do I do with it? And some of the buttons and little pearl buttons, they're really nice. So if you're very creative and you're very you're just creative and you know how to use the things, you're a great DIY person, why not? Better than sit in a little box and just rot there, right?
Yeah. And sometimes like you can buy brooches, but then you wear a necklace and you put the brooch on the necklace. Is that a fake necklace? No. It's the real brooch on a necklace. That's it. Like it's just cute. It's DIY, yeah.
Love customization. Okay,
Yeah.
Kimberly, Gucci definitely makes made for outlet items. So you got your Coco handle a few years ago. Congratulations, too good value before the Chanel price increase. Yeah, if you are looking for your Coco handle, that could be one that's gonna go up.
Yeah, because they didn't increase their price on the Coco handle that much, considering everything else went up so much, right?
Yeah. So I didn't know Gucci. Maybe Gucci does. I don't know. I haven't been to an outlet store for a while. I've seen in Gucci stores, like I went to the one in Bicester Village when I was in the UK a couple of years ago, and I'm not familiar enough with the brand, like everything of their brand, because it's a full store, right? There are so many things in the store. I did see some past season items, like the bags with the bees and all that. I did see that, but whether or not they make the other things just for the outlet, I really can't tell.
Yeah, me neither. But like we said, it doesn't matter because it's just a whole other market. Like you might not be shopping Gucci yourself because you don't like the fact that they make things just for the outlet, and that's fine. But there's a whole market that does, and it's to each their own, right? It's not a fake. It's still a real item. It's just made just for those kinds of stores, and that's fine.
That's fine. Yep, agreed. Are there super fake SLGs?
Yes.
Yes.
The video that I found where I said the girl that was unboxing it and showing it and saying how proud she was that she only paid whatever price for it and it looks like the real thing. It looks so good. Like literally she was putting it up close to the camera too, and I'm like looking at it, I'm like like the outside looks so good. The inside, that's where you can see it's not as good. The material may be stiffer and everything, but man, you can't tell from the outside. Yeah.
Until you see it, then you're like, oh, that doesn't look quite right, then you'll know. But otherwise, it was like it's like 80%. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, Miliki2's got a question. What qualifies an authenticator? I asked an essay at TRR. What's TRR?
The I don't know what TR is.
The real?
Oh, maybe, yeah.
And couldn't answer me. What qualifies someone as an authenticator?
That's a good question for our guest next week.
Yeah, then we'll ask her, what qualifies you?
But I have a feeling that authenticators are just like people who have so much experience with the brand. Yeah. Because, and I think, Kat, you told me that too, but I don't know where you saw it. But like, I watched another video of someone who said that authenticators shouldn't even be calling themselves that, but it's just that they do because they have a lot of experience with the brand. But there's no such thing as like an authentication school or something like that, right? Yeah.
It was a video from another YouTuber. I think there's no qualification. It's just they have so much. Yes, they're so familiar with the brand. They probably handled thousands and thousands of pieces that even for us, right? Okay, don't even talk about authenticators, but for us who go to the shop, touch the bag, touch this, look this, we're so particular about the details. I would dare to say we can authenticate. I'm putting it like this, because you can see it. Like if you are a person that loves luxury, loves the real thing, I can tell you that we can see it. We can actually see a fake thing. Like you go like, that doesn't look quite right. Especially if you love one item, like Amy, you love some things. You're like, ooh, I can see something that's not right. Even for me, I love some things. I'm like, ooh, that doesn't look right. And I don't need to be qualified. It's just because we are so familiar. Of course, not to the level of detail of an authenticator, but just the look, pretty good,
Yeah. And especially if we already own the items.
Oh, yes.
When you own the item and if you're like obsessed like us, you just look at everything. You literally, and then you notice it. Like, when I was in Singapore, I think I told you, babe, when I was lining up to get into the LV, I saw maybe a girl that was two or three people ahead of me, and I was looking at her bag and I'm like, that doesn't look like a real bag. And it's, I can already tell from just looking at it, because I own that bag, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's not a real bag. But
yeah, you can see it.
To get into the LV
you
store.
see a lot. When you're walking, you're like,
yeah.
You don't even need to touch it because like something's not right.
We can't call ourselves authenticator. I won't anyway, because I might do it for like my mom, but I won't do it for anyone else. I don't want to be responsible for someone else's bag.
True. We're like informal authenticators for people that we're like, all right, bring it here. Let's take a look. Like, you've been scammed. But yeah, so I feel like when they become an authenticator, when they take a career of an authentication career, they probably know a lot of trade secrets, like a lot. And they have the network to learn. It's like being on any job, right? If you're managing a project, you can kind of do it like knowing a little bit. But the more you do it, the more you understand and just, appreciate, then basically you're a project manager, you're an authenticator. So experience, I feel experience is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Deborah's, this is about her Tiffany thing just now. She said that it was a gift.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate because it was a knockoff. But it happens.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a little praise from, how do you pronounce Sasuke? Yeah, thank you. I love this necklace. I've been wearing it so much. And Amy's beautiful. I know this is from Self-Portrait, this blouse of yours.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I just saw the last part. I'm like looking at the first part. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, this is Erica. So coming to the comment, sorry, just a comment. Seen a lot of YouTube videos of people buying LV look-alike pouches and wallets on Amazon, and they have amazing reviews.
Yeah, that's what blows my mind. Like these people's channels are so huge sometimes, and they have tons of views, like way more than our channels. It blows my mind. I'm like, that's why I was like, what? This is such a thing? I did not know it was that huge. This whole
Industry.
yeah, or bougie on a budget type of videos. It's so weird. It's so weird. I don't think it was that prevalent before. I don't think now it's like literally in your face. I don't even watch those videos, but it still pops up in my like suggested feed.
Bougie. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is actually, yeah, I don't see the question, but I think this is a quick one for me. Do companies like Prada hire companies to manufacture luxury products for them, and yet it's still authentic? Not companies like Prada hire companies to manufacture luxury products for them, and yet it's still authentic. I guess so. It's like their supply chain.
Yeah, I wonder if that's her question.
I
Not
think so.
like
I'm assuming it's the whole supply chain, right? Because I don't
yeah.
think Prada warehouse and manufacture. Maybe they like their supply chain.
Maybe a question for our guest next week too.
Yeah, all those that we can't answer, we were just bringing it to her.
Do you need to screenshot it? No, I'll help you screenshot it. Just in case.
Oh,
There.
that's so cute.
Because we already had 2 or 3 questions earlier, right?
Yeah. Oh, this I don't know about this. This is interesting. Actually, this is just a comment, but this is interesting because I personally don't know what would the shop do if you were to go into it with your fake item. So this is Katie saying that somebody went into an LV shop in Singapore wearing a fake bag, and SA called the cops on them.
Oh.
I don't know. I didn't read this, and I'll check of it after this video. But just in general, what do you think, Amy? Would people do like what? I don't know what. I've never walked into a shop with a fake item, but what do you think they would do? I think they will just ignore you. I feel like they'll ignore you.
Maybe it's very serious in Singapore. I feel like here they will ignore you. Because I don't know if I've actually seen anyone do that here. I haven't spotted it yet. But I have definitely, like I said, I last time I saw that was in Singapore. Like I literally, even in Hong Kong, I think I was just like either standing in line or just walking past, and I'm like, oh, that's like a fake. Like, if I think it's a fake, it's not that good of a fake, right? But I feel like if you're in Paris, for sure they'll call the cops on you, because like in Europe, it's so strict, right? The policy, they even have posters and everything to like tell you not to buy fakes or to wear fakes, right? So is it maybe a country specific policy?
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, that's a good policy.
Good question for next week.
I think it's awesome if that really happened. I say good, unless of course that person is a unfortunate. They just got it like a gift. They didn't know. Like if let's say it was my mom.
Yeah, because they
and
don't know any
somebody gave
better.
her something, and she's like, they call the police on my mom. I would give the police hell for harassing a 70-year-old woman with a fake bag, which she didn't know. But if that is the policy, then we'll just deal with it.
Yeah.
This is Maria sharing. Hi, Maria. Our Hermes calculator is here. Legal in the US to report counterfeit goods.
That's great.
Wow. Wow. That's actually, yeah, that's great. It just
Yeah.
makes us more responsible of what we buy.
I wonder maybe some people don't do it because they don't want the hassle, maybe. And if it's none of their business, maybe they just didn't care enough to do it. Maybe that could be the case. I wonder maybe if it's already, maybe we should know that, but maybe it's already something that it's also allowed here too, that we can just report it, but people just, they're like,
Don't.
oh, it's not my problem. I shouldn't put my
Yeah.
nose in it, type of thing. Maybe. I'm not sure.
Maybe,
Question for next week.
and also coming back to the super fakes, it's so good. Like, can you imagine if I am the LV CA, I'm standing there, and I'm an LV person, right? I've seen a lot of bags, and this person comes in that the bag looks so good, but I have this, like, my instinct tells me, like, doesn't, like, maybe it's not. I won't do it. Like, the hassle, the mistake, wow, it's just too much to take. So unless it's obviously like super bad fake, then it's a different case lah. But
Mm-hmm.
you just don't want to take the risk also to be wrong, right? Because you're calling somebody out.
Yeah.
Ashley, does having the receipt from the first owner of the bag help in getting the bag serviced at the brand that the bag is from?
Um, yes and no, if it's a real one. First of all, the bag has to be real. Uh, yeah, for LV, it perplexes me, especially I'm talking locally here because I was told a long time before that you know they will only service it if you have a receipt. So as long as you have a receipt, but like. And then at one other point, they want to only service it if you bought it at that store, or at least in Canada, like that type of receipt, like not just any receipt from anywhere around the world. So like that always perplexes me how the warranty or the servicing works. I feel like we've been more stringent, and it was a little bit more flexible before, and then it just became more and more just stingy at helping you with fixing things, or maybe they just don't want to. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but I feel like it would help. It should
Yeah,
help. Yeah.
it would definitely help. And I feel like, okay, just for LV, right? For LV, previously you need the hard copy receipt, right? But in the past year and a half, they've been doing email receipts.
Mm.
So I've been getting my physical receipt, and then I've got my email receipt. And now, because you're so digital, right? I mean, if you have a very, very good storage archiving process, you should be archiving. I should be, but yeah, you should be archiving your receipts. So there's really no excuse to say that you don't have the receipts if you are the first hand owner. So coming to the second hand owner, I actually honestly don't know what is the luxury brand's internal policy of the second hand market. I do wonder whether they don't want to deal. Obviously, they can't say, but they don't want to deal with the second-hand items and the repairs for it, which is why they're slowly changing and making it a little bit more challenging. Because maybe with the digital receipt, they say, "Can we have your digital receipt?" Because they have your digital record as well. So this is something that I'm just wondering. Previously
Yeah.
they would say, "Oh, give me the hard copy receipt so that we know it's authentic." Something to think about.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. I feel like it's also case by case because like if you have a really good relationship with your SA, like really good, they might just help you out anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Because you could have this vintage item and you wanted to have it redone or whatever. Like, I think they will do it if they have if they know you as a client, so they know that you buy authentic and they know that you've been a client with them for a long time. So like it's also case by case as well.
Yeah. But to your question, definitely helpful, but I
Yeah.
don't think it is like 100% necessary. Okay, so we hit the 2-hour mark. I know we took a lot of time, in the presentation and sharing. We thought it was really interesting, and we hope you enjoyed it. Why don't we take a few more questions, maybe 2 or 3, if there's
Yeah.
any more, and we'll call it a day or a night. Okay, let's see. Let's go to this
It's a
one
very
because I'm right at the
productive
bottom right
chat
now.
today.
Stella, how easy is it to get bags for return in local Singapore boutique? Would it be easier if you have a receipt, or bring in the bag will do? So I think, Stella, you're saying that to do the return, right, in Singapore, actually it's quite easy, but they do need the receipt. So when I return my item, from my experience, right? From my experience, when I returned the item, I think I did it within like 2 weeks. My essay, even though I knew him very well, he actually needed all my documentation because it's something that I wasn't supposed to use and all that, right? So my receipt, my box, everything, basically getting it exactly as how I received it from the store. So it will definitely probably be necessary. Not even easier, probably be necessary. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? Have you done returns in store? Do they need everything?
Well, here they usually when I return, I go back to the same essay, so they already know because I just bought it from that essay. And yeah, we still do at Chanel. We still do physical receipts. LV they do the email receipt, but I always ask for the copied receipt anyway, and I still bring it just because I know it's just easy. Like they see it, they show it to them, and but yeah, I usually go back to the same person that sold it to me, so they already know. They already remember me. They already know that I bought the bag recently.
Hmm.
Mhm.
That's why you need the relationship. It's actually coming back to the level 1. There's a reason why the relationship is actually very important.
Mhm.
Okay, Kimberly, this is interesting. I personally haven't experienced it. Have you ever had a fake seller steal your pictures to sell their fakes?
I can't remember. I know. No, I can't remember if it happened to me on IG, but it people have stolen videos. Uh, you know what? My pictures are not that great for sellers because I always just post. Mostly, I just post like with my outfit. So
Um,
what are they gonna do? Like post my whole outfit too with the bag?
but apparently they do, they
Oh yeah,
use
they
your
do now, I guess.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. They like,
Hmm.
so then you're styling it.
Yeah. Like I'm already styling the bag. It's not like front and center you see the bag from. Usually I don't post those pictures that often.
Mm.
Only very once in a while I would pop like a picture like that if I haven't had the chance to take any pictures, but I want to say no, it hasn't happened to me yet.
Oh, you
But
don't
I don't
know.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's happened. It hasn't happened to me where they steal a photo of mine and they use it on their site. But I have had IG photos appear on other IG websites talking about their services and using my pictures as reference.
Oh, I have had that too. And
Yeah, and without
Clara
my
told me
permission, and as if I am, like what's it like
like affiliated.
affiliated with them, or not even promoting, like saying that, oh yes, this is the right thing to do.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That has happened, but not fake stuff. Yeah, but like Amy, I don't actually, do I post? I do sometimes, but it's just not good. I'm not skilled enough to take the right photo for IG sales. In fact, I think they post better pictures.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's not about the pictures or not. It's just like the style of photo is not what they would need to sell a bag, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, they might use your like styling photo to like just show how good your style of bag is, that so you should buy it just because it looks that good on you, right?
Yeah. Okay, I think that is the last one. I'm just gonna scroll and take a look if I missed anything. If I did miss anything, I sincerely apologize.
Yeah, it's really
I hope
hard
we
to
got
go
through
through
most of them.
everything. And
But
sometimes, like we say all the time, it just skips. It just keeps going back, and then you have to scroll back again.
yeah, so
But I think you covered pretty much like all the important stuff.
yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you. And just a quick reminder is that next week we are going to be on Amy's channel and we have a real authenticator. Okay, real authenticator coming. So definitely subscribe to Amy and myself and hit that like button because, well, this is a really interesting series that we do really
Yeah.
hard for all of you. So we hope you enjoyed it. And also, after this video, right, because we'll pick up some of the questions from the chat. But after this video, if you have any questions, you can put it in this description, all right, in the description of this video when it goes up. Or you can direct message myself or Amy maybe in the next few days, and we will send it directly to the authenticator. So there was one question about if she's any brand that she is that she specializes in.
Yeah.
So we'll send it to her because she did ask us, what any questions that your audience want to know. So it would be great that she has the questions up front. Yeah. So wow, that was awesome. So thank you to everybody for joining us again on the Luxury Live Show. We really enjoyed it and we hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you next week on Amy's channel. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.